Hello and welcome to another video from Libertad Communications, Writers for Writers. Some of you may remember last week the team at Writers for Writers at Libertad Communications declared war on editing and proofreading farms because, to be frank, they're a bloody plague on the industry. And I said at the time that every week, until it gets boring, that we would take each of the worst offenders and individually examine in detail a sample of their editing. Now, if you're even thinking of having your work edited professionally, you really do need to watch this video first and make sure that you watch it to the end. If you didn't see our videos last week, editing jargon debunked and editing and proofreading scams and how to avoid them, don't forget to check them out. We will leave links in the description. Anyway, today's drum roll, today's lucky winner is Papertrue at papertrue.com, who are based in India, but apparently have addresses in the UK and the USA, but we haven't been able to verify that. Whether that is a physical address with real people has yet to be confirmed. We've downloaded a sample of their editing for authors, and in this video we will fix it for free, just as we promised, so you can see how authors and writers are getting ripped off. Now, to be fair, like most of the editing and proofreading farms, Papertrue have a reasonable website. As you can see here, we don't want their special offer. It's reasonably intuitive and reasonably well set up, as is somewhat typical. Now, they give you, right off the bat, you've got four options for editing that are specific to business, academic, author and job applicant, and within each of those specific options you have a series of sub options. As it turns out, and as you will see, pretty much all of the edits follow the same format. You get pretty much the same thing. Now, today, for our experiment today, under author, no matter if you hit on book, manuscript, novel, poetry, you get the same sample, which is a text we'll call The Mermaid because it's charmingly named after a yacht called The Mermaid. Now, what is important to note, just to the left of this sample text, you have some explanation as to what exactly they give you for your money. You've got, as you can see here, you've got error-free language, which is basically saying they'll pretty much do a line edit. Refined style, which is sort of like a structural edit, and in-depth feedback, which is something like a concept edit. So for the price of your edit, they are promising to give you all three forms of edit, and it's important for you to remember that. Now, you probably be asking yourself, okay, how much do they charge? Well, for 100,000 word novel, which is sort of about average, they will charge you between 2.5 and 4,000 euros, depending on how quickly you want them to get the damn thing done. I think the shortest time frame is a week, for which you'll pay nearly 4,000 euros. So that begs the question, what do you get for your money? And that is the subject of this video. So as I said, we'll call this sample the Mermaid. And if we just have a quick rudimentary look at this edit here, most of you with some experience in the industry will see straight away that that is pretty much like something Grammarly would do, and it is basically a line edit, which is picking up bad spelling and mistakes in grammar at a reasonably high level. And we'll look at that a little bit more in a little bit more detail. And as I said, the important thing that this has been put through, what it certainly looks at this point like it's been put through a machine learning algorithm, MLA. Grammarly like to call their system AI, artificial intelligence, but as we discussed in the last video, you're not getting your work edited by a self-aware Terminator. It's just bullshit. It's just a program, a machine learning algorithm. So I won't bore you by going through each of these edits individually, word by word, because mostly, to be honest, their spelling and grammar suggestions are not bad. Is exactly what you would expect from Word, to be honest. So I'm not going to pick a fight with them over just the basic line edit there. But unfortunately, the problems for Papertrue don't end here. The problem for them is much more profound. So in order to show you what I mean, what we've done is we've taken this text and we've created the original. So let's have a look at the original text that some poor sod has submitted for editing. Now, in editing, as in real life, the devil is in the detail. So it's important that we read through these. It's only a few paragraphs, just take a couple of minutes. So it's about 349 words, I think. So it's not long, but we'll have a look through that. We'll read through this together, and then you'll understand our comments afterwards. Otherwise, it'd be a total waste of time. So just bear with me. The Mermaid is a 20-meter long yacht. There is a barbecue and a large ice box at the back of the yacht, and a hand winch up the front to raise and lower their small but sturdy rubber dinghy. They always took the dinghy with them on their fishing outings, and if the conditions were favourable, both the children, Jessica and Conrad, thought it is splendid being towed behind Mermaid and crisscrossing through the wake. Michael already placed the fishing rods and a gaff in their holders and had topped up the water tank, had made sure that there was ample fuel for their fishing trip, and had wenched the dinghy up onto the front of the yacht. Pepper yelped gleefully as she jumped into the Mermaid and sat up the front in her usual spot. Conrad stepped onto the yacht with the basket and the Labrador's basket. Wear your life jacket, Conrad. We're just about ready to set sail. Dad, come on, do I really need to on a clear day like today? Conrad said, groaning with disdain. Yes, you must certainly wear it, his father stated sharply. He started the motor and let it idle in neutral. I'm wearing mine, aren't I? We're ready to cast off, my boy. Get behind the steering wheel, and this time try not to sideswipe the jetty as we move away from it. Conrad replied and smiled sheepishly. I won't, Dad. Pepper was beginning to get anxious, and because she wanted to feel the wind in her hair, yapped again. At last they were on their way. Suddenly the dorsal fin of a 4-meter long bull shark cut through the water. It guzzled down the remains of the trout and then circled the Mermaid several times before disappearing below before the blue, dark surface of the water. Dark, sinister storm clouds gathered on the horizon. There were flashes of lightnings, followed by a devastating clap of thunder. Then, without any further warning, a huge tidal wave smashed onto the yacht and tipped it treacherously to the left side. Michael slipped because of the water, toppled overboard, and was quickly swept with the current. Conrad pointed to the beacon. Go with the current, Dad, Conrad yelled. You should be able to hold on to the beacon until things settle down and then swim back to the yacht. Okay, so much for the mermaid. Now, obviously, this text is nowhere near ready to publish. It's not ready for a structural edit or even less a line edit. To take a person's money to edit this at this point is criminal. It's like mugging the poor devil. Now, here at Writers for Writers at Libertad Communications, before taking someone's work for editing, we suggest that our clients complete a free 15-minute Zoom conference, ideally, or we can telephone conversation is fine, with us to make sure that their work gets exactly the attention that it needs. Prior to our conversation, we ask you to send in a couple of pages of your work so we can get an idea of what stage it's at and how best we can help you. Having read this sample, we would have sent the author this email to give you an example, letter to the author. Now, I'll quickly go through this and then that will make sense in terms of our reading through the original mermaid story. Positive. An interesting collection of images and a nice attempt at using dialogue to create character. Now, these are constructive comments for the author to try and pull this work to a point where it could be edited. Time and point of view. It would be a good idea to decide in what time frame your narrator views the events of your story. Are they in the past, present, or future? When you can, stick to this time frame. Decide who is telling the story and why, and in what time is the story set. Use appropriate language. Logical inconsistencies. The story opens and it's a clear day, so obvious question, where did the storm come from? And what caused the tidal wave? An earthquake? In the face of the storm, how could the yacht hold station by a beacon? And if a 4-meter shark has just been sighted, is it wise for Conrad to propose that his father stays in the water? And what the devil happened to Jessica? Not mentioned again. Technical terms. Read more on yachts and sailing. Research sailing terms. And it would be very unlikely that a boy would be expected to maneuver a 66-foot yacht out of a marina due to insurance considerations. Language. Decide if you're using American English or British English and then stick to either one. In order to create believable characters, make sure that each one has a distinctive voice and syntax and vocabulary. The use of anachronistic and formal vocabulary can be fine, but if you mix it with informal language, it tends to sound quite false. For instance, my boy, splendid, and most certainly. The story overall, the scenes are not well imagined. Even though you are writing fiction, the scenes you put your characters into must be real to you, and that must come through in the story. So that's what we would have done. Let's look at what Papertrue did with this sample. Let's have a look at the edited sample, which you saw online, with all of their suggested changes, except all changes. Yeah. So let's have a look at this is the text, except all changes, and we've gone through it, save time and stop this being jolly boring. We've gone through it and we've made, if this had come to us, the edits that we would have made. Now, going through each of those points, if I go through them now, it would be just too boring. I did try. It was boring for me to read, and it would be even more boring for you to watch. You'd click off. But as you can see, there are, I'll just go through to the bottom, there are 29 major issues with this, and it's only 349, I think. Sorry, 379 words. So that's pretty bad. What we'll do is we'll PDF this and we'll leave a link in the description to the video so you can download it for yourself and you can go through it and have a look at what we've said and if you think it's fair. What is important, and I think if you look through this yourself you'll agree with me, what is important is that Papertrue's edit, which you saw online, is restricted to just spelling and grammar, which is well, they haven't picked up on redundant words, mixed tenses, or poor word choice, nor have they picked up on the logical inconsistencies in the story or the misuse of sailing jargon. In short, they have only done what an MLA program could do, nothing more.
Post. Happy boy.
So I'm sure that you will agree that after being edited by Papertrue, the text is still not anywhere near ready for publication, which is a shame, as the writer has some good ideas and has made a good try at writing dialogue. To be honest, we wouldn't have even given this work to our beta readers because it wouldn't be fair to them or to the author, because it would have taken them too long and it would cost the author too much money. The cheapest option for the author would be to do a rewrite based on our suggestions, because those fixes which would have put most of this right are relatively easy to make. With a bit of help, this person would be able to write something that truly reflects their vision. As it is, presumably this person has paid out a lot of money and their work is still not fit to publish, which, with at least 29 errors left in a text of only 379 words or so, and if they just accepted all changes, like Papertrue encourage you to do, like a lot of people do, without checking each one of the suggestions, they would have learned nothing in the process. Ultimately, a writer, if you think about it, has two choices. They can keep trying to fix their text, or they can try to fix the writer. And at this stage, I strongly suggest that the author of The Mermaid should try and fix the writer. If you just try to fix the text, you're just going to keep having the same problem the next time you write something. It'll cost you a lot of money, and in the end, you'll just give up writing. If you fix the writer, on the other hand, your editing process just gets cheaper and cheaper the more experience that you get. And it's for this reason that we do offer a writer mentoring service, particularly for non-native English speakers. Well, so much then for Papertrue. If you've had a bad editing experience, or if you have any suggestions for our next literary hit piece, our next expose, just let us know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, be well.
The Lord of the University? Yes, he did. In a bad humor. Somebody must have stolen the crown jewels.